You're listening to Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official podcast of Lingerie Fighting Championships. And now, here's your host, Michael Latkin.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast. My name is Mike Larkin, and joining me today, folks, 1 week, LFC 37 back to the mansion. It's on Valentine's Day. What a better way to spend Valentine's Day, right? With the debuting Hotstuff, Hollie Dunaway. Hollie, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. I'm so excited about this fight. I'm just getting completely ready. That way I have no doubts in myself or my performance, and I don't worry about getting tired or, my body betraying me. Like with pro boxing, you did have that concern, of course, going 10 rounds. So this is only 3 rounds. So I feel pretty confident, and I know we're going to be putting on a good show, mostly because of the outfits, and I've got a pretty hot opponent too.
Well, folks, for those who want to know, bout 2 of LFC 37 back to the mansion is Hollie Dunaway making her debut against Bella Rockafella, who we saw in the last 2 LFCs, LFC 35 and LFC 36, against Bella Madison, who was your teammate on the pink team, and Shaylin. 1-1, man. 0-2 for Bella Rockafella, 1-1 for Shaylin. Now, for this one, Bella Rockafella is looking to get that win, and she's looking to get it at your expense, but also have a damn good fight at the same time. So, Bella Rockafella, as they say, desperate times call for desperate measures. She's looking to get that win on you.
Yeah, of course. I'm not trying to lose my debut for sure, but she is a much bigger opponent, and it's going to be a good fight. She's been doing more like MMA style fighting and grappling and stuff. So I guess she's going to have a chance when we go to submission wrestling on the ground. But as long as we're standing up, I can be very accurate with my placing of body punches, since they're allowing body punches. I've never got to hit somebody with only a 4-ounce glove before. Usually I can sit somebody down with an 8-ounce glove pretty easily. So I think a 4-ounce glove, if anything hurts or, I'm not having fun in there, then I'm probably just going to dig an organ.
Well, I think what also is great about this too is also the chemistry factor, as it goes with anything, with boxing, MMA, pro wrestling, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
LFC, it's a little bit of MMA, it's a little bit of wrestling, it's a little bit of clothing. And I will say this, folks, speaking of clothing, this one over here, Hollie Dunaway, if you've not seen it on the Facebook, the Instagram, and the Twitters for LFC, you are having everybody, hey, what should I be wearing? Should I be wearing some red, some blue?
Right.
Some
I think
pink?
everybody picked the blue one.
Everybody
it's like a
loved the blue.
purple color. Yeah.
Everybody
I think it's because there's a tiny string going up the butt. I'm pretty sure that's why they chose that one.
And I think it looks amazing. Well, first and foremost, folks,
you.
You're welcome. The 3 of them looked absolutely great on you, but the blue, I'm going to say this right now, blue is my favorite color, so I think you exude and accentuated that, Miss Hollie Dunaway.
Okay, good. I think the blue one. I offered the fans to be able to pick, and so I'm going to have to honor that. And I'm going to wear the blue. I'm just going to pull the girls up, let as much of them show as possible, and all the booty's going to be showing. So I haven't watched a whole lot of the LFC, before my fight, maybe 4 or 5 matches, but I didn't see anybody showing this much in any of them, this much butt showing. So, yeah.
Well, as the old country song says, honky tonk, badonky donk. And the way I look at it, and the way I look at it, first and foremost, LFC has been known for also its booty camp events, which were the last 2 events, the LFC prospects against the LFC veterans. So, I mean, booty comes with the territory. You know what I'm saying? The cutie beauty with a booty. And I look at it from a stance too as well. From you, I think everything is accentuated in the right places. And I think with the blue outfit and everything that we're going to see the lingerie side of things, and Bella Rockafella, what she comes up with, she's known for having that dom presence in her entrance with the little man puppy as she's had. So I'm kind of curious for the entrance side of things. What are we planning here? Are we going to get a nice little sway, a nice little swag? How are you feeling going into the entrance of this? Because that makes up the whole entire moment as well.
So I'm really confident about the entrance of it. You mean like my whole like ring walk intro?
I'm
I
curious
heard
about
that some
this.
of the girls do like dancing stuff. I
Yes.
figure I'll do my like whole bouncing on my toes, fist bumping with everybody on the way to the ring dance. That's really when I get the show begins for me at that point. Whenever I'm doing my ring intro, it's like that's when all the nerves leave my body, and it's just I'm completely focused. This is what I've trained for the last 20 years of my life. I've really done nothing else besides fight. And so I feel like I'm really qualified for this. I'm excited about it. I'm not nervous yet. Maybe in my dressing room that some nerves will hit, but like I said, even if they do, as soon as I start making that ring intro and I'll make that arena mine, and I'm really confident.
I look at it from a stance too as well. First and foremost, I'm looking forward to this fist pump and getting on your toes. I'm really going to be watching this entrance now. You have me hooked. And I mean, you're welcome. I look at it from a stance too as well. Hollie Dunaway, I mean, HD. We're not talking about Hollie Dunaway high definition. We are all in high definition watching y'all at the mansion. It's Las Vegas, Nevada, the fight capital of the world. And for you making that return to Vegas at 7:02, where my girl's at from the front to back, how excited is you for going to Vegas, getting that Vegas life, Vegas feel back into?
Yeah, no, I love Vegas. I lived there for a couple of years and fought. I fought at like the Paris Casino and Stratosphere there. So yeah, I'm excited about just the atmosphere and the energy of Vegas, where it's like Sin City, and they accept my how should I put it, like how comfortable I am in my own skin. Where a lot of times when I fight, I make a lot of my own fight outfits, and I'm kind of showing a lot whenever I fight anyway. I make my boxing trunks like super short and my sports bra is really low cut, but I'm just going to fit in, like everybody's, that's their MO in this one. So I'm not going to be skimpy anymore. I'm just going to fit in. And so that's going to feel nice. And, I don't like wearing a lot of clothes anyway. So that's why I felt like this was just such a perfect match for me.
Well, first off, I look at it from a stance too as well. I look at it from yourself, and first of all, I love that the confidence and being comfortable in your own skin. And I got to say, right now, a lot of people with a lot of beautiful women like yourself, some people look at it like clothing should be optional, wear next to nothing. But also at the same time, as they say, if you got it, flaunt it, Miss Hollie Dunaway. So the sex appeal, livening it up, and
Yeah.
yeah, and for you, like you're the pink team here. Coach Joel Kane has got an ensemble here with you at the forefront. We got the debuting Ruby the Booty Vuitton. We have pro wrestler Selena De La Renta. We have Bella Madison, who's returning back to LFC. Veteran Lauren the Animal Fogel. And just everybody on that team is really just a stellar team for this one going into the pink team here. So I cannot wait to see how the pink team folds, because the pink team's been on a roll. Joel's been winning all of these events with the pink team right now.
Right. Yeah. He's got a good luck. He knows how to like pick the right fighters. And yeah, I just got lucky ending up on his team. So it's almost like you're expected to win being on that team. And there's something that comes with the expectation. They just they give you the benefit of the doubt, and that's a little bit important, not having to earn it so much. And not saying I won't earn it, but yeah, I'm definitely going to fit right in there with the winning team. So glad I'm already on the winning team and I'm not coming in as the underdog.
I think so. And I mean, from your placement on the bout, I always say this, well, whatever bout that you are on a show, doesn't matter what combative nature, what combative sport that it is, you make the most of it. And also, you stand out. And I think Ruby Booty Vuitton is taking on Ziva Faye. That's bout number one. You're bout number two against Bella Rockafella. So for you, going in there second, being really setting the tone at the beginning of the show to the end, that's got to make you feel good as well, because you want everybody to be entertained. You want everybody to be pumped. So I know you're going to be doing your damnedest on that front as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I'm excited about doing some pro wrestling moves in there. I don't, that's probably what I get to do the least of. I'm usually like half boxing, half grappling. So the pro wrestling aspect, that's what I've had to really practice the most. And, that's like more, I think it's out of my opponent's, comfort zone too. She's usually like more into the MMA and grappling too. But yeah, I mean, some of the pro wrestling moves I'm gonna do to her are they're gonna steal the show. Let me warn you right now. I've been studying some of like the sexiest wrestling moves, that have ever been done in pro wrestling. And it doesn't matter if she wants to cooperate or not. I'm going to pull these moves off. And yeah, I think I'm going to steal the show with my creativity and the fact that there is like a little bit of a size difference there. So I think what's going to set my fight apart from the other fighters is that I'm kind of an acrobat. I can run up somebody. I can, like leapfrog them. I can put my hands on anybody's shoulders and then end up in a head scissor, because I've got a strong upper body and I'm usually lighter than all of my opponents. So they don't fall down whenever I jump on top of their shoulders. And so I think I'll be able to because of the size, the size adversity, I think I'm going to be able to pull off some moves that nobody else can pull off because they're about the same size as their opponent.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, from this game, the game plan that Bella Rockafella's had, we've seen her do some missions from like rear naked chokes and everything like that. She's very powerful. For you, I'm going to say right now, and this actually goes back to the pink team, one of the sexiest submissions in the history of lingerie fighting championships was Jolene the Valkyrie Hex against Ali Baby Doll Parks back in LFC 30. She's on the pink team, Jolene Hex, got her in like a triangle, and she twerked on her for the submission, man. So if we could get something to that level of twerkage or anything with the creativity of you, Hollie Dunaway,
Right.
I'm all for it.
I got a move similar to that, but yeah, I'll have to break that one out too. It's gonna be, both of us are sexy at the end of the day. So, and we're probably not going to be wearing a lot because we're both just very overconfident, and it's going to be a great fight. I think that some of the submissions that we put each other in on the ground are going to be, little more risque, and especially the fact that we're able to like let ego go, and and I've talked to my opponent a couple of times, and she's real into like the competitive aspect of it, but also us putting on a good show instead of just her putting on a good show. And so, I think we're gonna like allow each other to do a lot in there and just really letting people see all angles.
I look at it from a standstill as well, and you said something very operative there. It's the professional side of things, because at the end of the day, y'all are battling each other and looking sexy while doing it, but also at the same time, not only do you want to put on a good show, but you're also giving each other your bodies. So at the same time, you want to tell a story and really evoke a lot of emotions, and that's really keen on what goes into it, because there's stuff like that where a lot of times we'll see that, and a lot of people kind of sandbag, which is a term like they don't go with it, or just boom, it doesn't gel well. But there's also people like yourself that really know where to put things into place. It's like a science. It's the overall mechanics of it. So I think that also makes for a good storytelling aspect to your bout.
Yeah. And definitely a good show.
Absolutely.
Sometimes whenever you've got too much ego, you're not going to take a lot of risk, and you're going to just be dead set on, oh, this move is working, I'm going to keep doing that. And we're not going to be so focused on that as we are focused on putting on a good show and trying to steal the show.
And I mean, from the nickname standpoint, we're going to say this. We've never in the history of LFC, not to my knowledge, since I've been with the dog on LFC, we have never had a hot stuff in LFC before. So we
Right.
got a hot
We
stuff.
got tons of Bellas, right?
Right. We have had the Bella Inks, the Bella Madison now, and Bella Rockafella. I mean, here's what's great about it, too. Rockafella, she's all about that money. You're about being hot stuff, baby, deceive me. So it's a nice little combo, too, on the nickname side of things.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly shows a level of confidence that we're going to, call ourselves that. And, I think it sells tickets. Just people, we're going to be like, well, she's calling herself hot stuff. Maybe she is. We should at least buy a ticket and see how hot this girl is. And, it's not just about a look. It's about the way you carry yourself, and the way you end up, in the ring. And she's going to definitely be like ending up in some compromising positions.
And I mean, from the also the outlook and the standpoint of it too, and what I've always loved about this is, folks, each and every time that we have an LFC event, not only do we see a lot of newcomers and great debuts such as yourself, but man, we got a lot of empowering badass women. And I think women like yourself, from what you've done with your Hall of Fame boxing career, 4-time pro boxing world champion, I think you have that empowerment factor that also inspires a lot of young girls and a generational talent in your own right, Hollie. So from that standpoint, you gotta be feeling on cloud nine for what you've done for the industry and just overall you as a person.
I thank you. I am. I certainly feel I guess if I'm going to let a little bit of ego show here, I feel like I'm the most qualified person that's ever been in LFC. Let me make some enemies here in LFC, because enemies sell tickets. I don't know that any of these girls, yeah, they might have been wrestlers for 10 years and fighting other wrestlers, but a lot of what they did is not on a professional level, and it's different when you give up your life and you train for one opponent for three months, and you train 2 or 3 times a day, and you have an entire team of people training you and monitoring your weight and critiquing your every single punch and studying you, and you're studying your opponents. And it's a difference when you fight professionally. And so because I fought on that level, I'll underestimate anybody I encounter in the LFC and tell someone for that I don't care if someone from professional boxing beats me, because in order to compete at that level, you really have to believe your own hype. You can't have a single doubt in yourself. And I've carried that over from boxing. And because of it, I've been doing submission wrestling for 11 years. I traded boxing. I mean, I still do boxing sessions, of course. But it's usually against people that are not, super skilled, not like professionals anyway. And, but I've carried that confidence level over. And because of that, I haven't lost to a man or a woman in 11 years, boxing or wrestling. And granted, I'm not doing it on a professional level anymore, but there's never more than 10 days of my life where I'm not on an airplane going to fight 5 or 10 people. So I've made this my life, and I've sacrificed enough, been through enough, and no one can beat me. I just feel like a freak of nature. However hard my opponent hits me, I find out that I can hit harder than them. I don't care if they're a 200-pound man. They set the pace for the power that we're going to use in this. If they want to go out there and just move their hands and wow, we can do that. We can just play. But if you're going to hit me like a grown man, guess what? You're going to find out what a grown man hits like, because I impress myself with the amount of power with wrestling and boxing that I have to muster up in order to defend myself on a regular basis. So I'm just maybe overconfident, but at the same time, I don't get in there underestimating everyone. I believe my own hype, and I'm going to do whatever I have to do to live up to it.
First of all, don't apologize for having an ego. With this show, we've seen a lot of the egos come out, and girls are ready to whip some ass and take some names. So you are all good, number one. And number two, you are a verbal assassin. And number three, I will put it to you like this. Listening to you talk about this, and I'm going to use the MMA and pro wrestling tie-in and correlation here. That reminds me of how Ronda Rousey, when she did an interview, she's talking about, yeah, these girls can wrestle and all that stuff. I've actually done the MMA. I've done the big leagues and stuff. I felt a little Ronda Rousey vibe coming off you here, Hollie Dunaway.
Yeah. And Ronda Rousey she's right though. It is a different level when you have to do everything perfect, and when none of it is scripted, and when you don't have to allow your opponent to do anything. And to be honest, the professional wrestling has never had a fighter like Ronda Rousey. They've never had anything like her, and it's evident. It's very evident in every performance that she puts on. That she's the real deal, and that there's never been anything like her. And you see what she's doing to people, and you know that it's all kind of scripted. And you think, wow, think about what she could be doing to people,
Right. And that's how I feel. And I look at it from a stance too with her. Like, people will see like her style. If you look at it from the wrestling side of things, what she's doing now with WWE, there's a lot of judo throw because about her judo background and everything in general. And we're so accustomed now to the way professional wrestling style is going towards more the aerial assault. Let's do the dives and this and that. And I'm like, God dang it, man, having the basic submissions in the ground game, the catch can that we see from amateur wrestling, the boxing, the background that we live, that's the problem. Everybody's like steering away from that and forgetting like, hey, man, the basics is what sells here. Not only just evoking emotions, but the basics is what we're at here. And sometimes the basics is what goes over with a lot of people and tells a damn good story in the process.
Right. Yeah. And that's what makes it seem very real. And a lot of the pro wrestling moves, they're entertaining, but you do have to allow your opponent to carry out this pro wrestling move on you, and vice versa. So there is a little bit of a scripted fake element to it. But once you go to like the ground and pound game or start body punching someone, then that stuff is a little less scripted, and a little less predictable. And, that's how in a real fight, fighters would fight.
Gotta say, you also now have me, besides the ground pound, we'll go back to the ground and pound here. Man, if I see like a leg scissors, a head scissors, give me a little go-go plata triangle choke, I will lose my mind next week if we see that in your bout with Bella Rockafella.
You're going to see it.
I'm here for it. And that's the thing, too. I love the submission game because I remember when we talk about the MMA side of things, like Ken Shamrock, badass with the ankle lock from his transition into pro wrestling. Like we see a lot of people who've used the go-go plata, the triangle choke, the head scissors, the takedowns, and everything from that stance. So a good submission always does it. Doesn't matter what it is, rear naked choke. If you just have the right pressure point, if you have the overall stance and the overall science to it, like we mentioned, the mechanics, it's lights out. So I'm sure we're going to see a lights out and a boom, if you know what I'm saying from you.
Yeah, because it's not about are you stronger than your opponent. It's about are you stronger than that carotid artery? Because once you get locked on it, and it doesn't matter how small I am, once I get, or anyone gets a solid lock, then it's just a countdown. You got about 12 seconds tops before the oxygen's depleted to your brain and you're going to go out or tap out or something. So, so it's very real, and it's like an an airlock, getting these submissions on. So I think that I don't know that I'm going to try and choke her out immediately. I want to put on a good show too, and really get to showcase what I've been working really hard for over the years. And it's like if your opponent might kick you in the jaw and then now I got to choke you. So you never really know how it's going to go. So it's not, I'm sure like certain aspects of it are like flow with your opponent and allow them to do this cool looking move on you. And she sees the move I'm trying to do on her. And we may play along a little bit, but at the same time, neither of us are doormats and neither of us are going to take a beating. So it's, I'm sure a very small percentage of this is going to be scripted.
We got to bring this up here because this one talk about her size stature. I'm going to say this, folks. My mother is my hero and the reason why beauty, strength, and dominance exists. My mother is 4'11". It's always the short ones, man, because my mother is probably one of the most feistiest doggone women's I know. Sweetheart of a woman, but when she gets mad, look out. So I will say this from the size standpoint. You and your overall size and stature, looking at your boxing career and what you've done in the boxing world, that shit, and excuse my language, that shit did not matter because, my God, you could just take him down just like that. Doesn't matter the size of the dog in the fight, you know what I'm saying, because you did your thing.
Yeah, for sure. It's more about precision, where you're landing your punches. And, I always felt like I was the stronger opponent in every single fight that I was ever in. But it's not even about who's stronger. It's about being stronger than somebody's pressure point and just being calm enough in there to not get, caught up in the emotion. Like say somebody hits you and now your pride is insulted because the crowd's like, and now you want to like swing back for the fences back here where you're telegraphing, you have to keep a very calm head and go, wow, that kind of hurt. All right, let me get some redemption. I'm going to go after like underneath the chin pressure point, behind the ear pressure point, and then the temple. Like, I'm going to land one of these three. And then as soon as I stun one, I'm coming back with this. So you have to, it's still a chess game in there, and you still have to, still got to keep your cool.
So pretty much what you're saying is when it comes to Bella Rockafella, it's checkmate. I like your style. I see what you did there with your chest and everything. You're pretty much saying she's checkmate. I like your style, Hollie Dunaway.
But, it's not even about Bella Rockafella. I would feel like that with any opponent. And I've had a little time to prepare for this. They postponed it. And so it gave me even more time to just make sure that I'm doing my sprints and really stretching out my lungs and, making sure I'm getting in sparring with people that are bigger than me. And, I've still been doing like wrestling sessions with guys and, just making sure that my fight instincts are good. So I feel like, as long as she doesn't do too much kicking with long legs, I can block kicks, but like these short legs ain't reaching anybody. I'm just going to have to like block and then punish, instead. But I have been working on my kicks too. They're just, like I said, I'm 5'0". So.
Hey, I'm going to say this right now. Alexa Bliss in WWE, her nickname was for the 5 foot of Fury, because she is also 5 foot. Never underestimate people who are 5 feet of Fury, and I'll include you in those sentiments, Hollie Dunaway.
Yeah, no, I know absolutely. Don't underestimate 5 feet, especially on the ground. On the ground, I'm not only 5 feet tall. Like, it doesn't matter how tall I am when I'm laying down.
Yep.
The advantage is for me when I'm laying down because my arms and legs are right by each other. I'm super flexible. So like somebody can have me in a rear neck and my arms and legs are close together, so I can get a foot in there and pry the arm off of me. And, I can curl up into a little ball, and everybody's long arm and long leg that I see coming from a mile away because they're so long, I have plenty of time to think about my backup plan and my plan to get out of the way of things. So it's just my short height always works out for me on the ground. And then I've adapted to being like having a shorter reach on, while standing also.
I mean, from that standpoint as well, from working on your strike, and you mentioned sessions here, and I want to put this over. Jennifer Thomas, aka Jenny Bloody Valentine at LFC, does amazing work with sessiongirls.com, which you are on, and a lot of amazing talents are on. From the session world, really helps a lot of women like yourself from the training aspect, but god dang, with the clientele, puts on a damn good performance, and also makes it worthwhile for the clientele that want to be involved in sessions wrestling.
Absolutely. And it just makes you keep that ring rust off, if anything, because sometimes in professional boxing, I would only compete 3 or 4 times a year. And I would get super nervous in between. And you would, even though you're sparring, it's not real combat. And whenever you're doing sessions, you're competing anywhere between like 5 to 10 times a week. So you're talking like up to 40 fights a month for like the last 11 years. I've probably taken maybe a 6-month break in 11 years from being that active, between like at least 20 matches a month, but that's a very slow month for me. So yeah, just doing sessions keeps you active. It keeps you confident. And it's really beneficial. It wasn't beneficial to me in pro boxing because I kind of traded one for the other. At the end of my pro boxing career, I was trying to do sessions on the weekend and then train Monday through Friday in the boxing gym and still go have pro fights. And my last pro fight, I ended up losing to a girl. Like, I beat her when she was 7-0. And I ended up like losing a split decision. And even though I didn't feel like I legit lost that fight, I let it be close enough that they could take it from me. So I only have myself to blame. And it just made me realize that I got to focus on something. Like this takes full focus. And boxing, you can't cheat on boxing with wrestling. Wrestling, I feel like you can cheat on wrestling with boxing because boxing it's more hardcore. You don't get breaks. There's no getting in good enough shape to fight 10 or 12 rounds. You might be in incredible shape and be training 3 times a day, but you're still going to get tired. And the most you can do is hold your opponent and get the ref doesn't say break for a whole 6 seconds. But in wrestling, you can put people in holds and just be like, oh, you can't get out of that? Cool. We're going to stay here until my lungs recover. And nobody's going to say break. And that's the beautiful thing about wrestling. And it's really why I've been able to stick with wrestling, because I don't have to give up my life for it anymore. I can not work out 3 times a day or 5 times every single day and still be in shape to do this because of being able to like rest in the middle of holds. And it's just, I would probably take wrestling over boxing. Even if I feel like I get my fire back in this, I'll just dedicate it to LFC. I'm not going back to pro boxing.
I will say this, first and foremost, I love the wrestling terminology here, and this is why I love you to death here, Miss Hollie Dunaway. This woman just told the overall mechanics and the art form of the proverbial rest hold. Just locking it in, give me like a sleeper, give me, as it's known, you just really exemplify what the rest hold is, for those who are familiar. And also the old 5 seconds to the rope, you got 5, to get off the rope. But no, I like that, because the wrestling terminology of the rest hold is very important as well. But also at the same time, like you mentioned, First of all, you're a great addition to LFC. I'll put that in wholeheartedly, not just because you're here, but I mean that with all due respect and love for you. But god dang, man, going from LFC out in the boxing world, doing in your thing for LFC. Personally, for me, you're one of the hottest, pun intended, hot stuff debuts in LFC history. So when we keep going on and on to the break of dawn, when you're on those next events, man, I'm going to be even more super hyped. I know the fans will. I know we all can't wait to see you do more stuff in LFC.
Thank you. I'm excited to be working with them. I feel like it's a perfect fit. It always has been. I don't know what took me so long.
It's the hand in glove, folks. It's the hand in glove. All right. Now, for you, Hollie Dunaway, we got to talk about something else here, because not only is this woman doing her thing in LFC, folks, if you're not checked out Hollie Dunaway on the old TikTok and the YouTube shot, man, you're YouTube. You're swimming with dolphins. You're working out. You're shadow boxing. You're just having fun. And it's probably one of the most liveliest doggone YouTubes I've seen, Hollie.
Thank you. I try to just keep it all positive stuff and just try to keep it like based on, I'm teaching boxing on the channel. That's kind of my niche, but I'm also just, dabbling in showing people just parts of who I am as far as the spiritual side and the little bit of, I think outside the box a little bit. And, and I just try to be good energy for everybody. And so I'm trying to make a living on social media too. That's a tough thing to do, because you have to post every day, and some platforms you're not getting paid and some you are. But it's like a best case scenario for me, because I'm really just being myself and doing things that I want to do, and recording it. So I'm just like getting to live the life I really wanted to live. And because I have social media to keep up with, like, that's more reason to go skydiving and swim with dolphins and just do these things on a weekly basis every week in my life. So I can keep the channel going. And it's just been a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying life more than I ever have.
I feel like it's your YouTube channel is like a doggone TV show with friggin' skydiving. You're swimming with dolphins. I feel like I'm watching Flipper and Free Willy, for God's sake. You, and I mean this, and I don't mean to laugh, but it's so funny, because I just love that adventurous side of things. You have to be adventurous in life. You have to be willing to take some chances and have fun.
Yeah, people just get really, they get to be habitual creatures where they're just repeating the same things over and over, and I just don't want to be like that. I want to truly live, and that's what I'm able to do. I'm really grateful.
Well, that's the thing, and I love me some Nelly and Tim McGraw over and over again, but I don't want to keep doing things over and over again. You know what I'm saying? And I look from the spiritual side of things. I think you're using the great power that God gave you when I'm talking about teaching boxing, what have you, because that helps a lot of people. You're welcome, and that helps with a lot of instructionals with shadow boxing and how to do this, how to have the proper technique. It works.
Thank you. Yeah, I do feel like I'm a really good instructor with boxing. And I feel like what sets me apart from the average instructor is, I demonstrate how to do things. I tell you why and when you're going to do things. I tell you different variations of things. Like, maybe I overanalyze everything, but it's just, I've noticed that I still teach boxing. I work at a couple of beach clubs down in Fort Lauderdale, Miami areas. And I noticed that my students, men, women, it doesn't matter. They pick it up, the things that I'm teaching, a lot easier than I picked it up. And, some of my trainers, like, they were amazing for different things in their own right. But they really took the long way around to explain things. And like, once I finally figured out how to do something and kind of perfected it, I would say, wow, if they would have just explained it this way, then, or took my body and did it for me and been like, this is what you're doing, this is what you should be doing, it would have just clicked, and I could have got it a lot sooner and got hit with a lot less punches. So I feel like that I can learn from their mistakes and be an even better trainer than the examples I had.
Agreed. And I think what's great about it too is I think in life, doesn't matter what age you are, you never stop learning, you never stop adapting. And I think that's the best part of it within each and every passing year that we have. Like, I'm going to be 31 this year, and I look at it from a stance too as well. Man, I'm in my early 30s, 31. I think there's a point in life where you're like mid 20s to like when you get to 30s, and I'm going to use this and excuse my language once more. It's the don't give a fuck period, because you're at a point in your life where it's like, I'm going to do me, I'm going to be happy, and fuck what everybody else thinks.
It's a beautiful place to be, isn't it?
Absolutely. And no, I mean, you find that
Like
out.
everyone should be.
Right. And you find that out. And once you find that out, I think it's wonderful. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's the thing. People would look at what you and I do, like with what I do with this podcast, and you with what we're doing now. It's Lingerie Fighting Championship. People see the L and they're like, but if you actually know what goes into it, you would not be saying what you say about the lingerie,
Yeah,
because there's a lot of stuff.
You see what they're giving up and what they're putting in, and you would have respect for them regardless of what they're wearing. And, if a lot of people had the energy and motivation to work as hard as some of these girls do to get their body banging like that, you probably wouldn't be as judgmental, and you might want to go do some of these things and show off your hard work too. So, anytime somebody shows a little bit of judgment, I just try not to judge them. I just try to see it for what it is. And I do feel a bit sorry for them, because like, that's not joy. Judging others is you're not in a joyful state of mind doing that. So, if that didn't bother you, that would be your true joy, if you didn't allow things to bother you. And a lot of these girls, they're not bothered about anything. The girls in the LFC, they're just they're very open and confident. And these are my people.
Beautifully said, because y'all are my people too. And I put that in there with the utmost sincerity.
You're my people too. You're amazing.
Yes.
I enjoy all of these podcasts we do together. It's you really get all of it.
I appreciate you. No, that's true. And this is what I love about all you ladies. I think everyone is different. And the reason I put this over too, like you mentioned, from the lingerie standpoint, we were talking about your teammate, Lauren the Animal Fogel, Pink Team representing here. She's a former LFL alumni doing the Lingerie Football League. So she knows what's up. So you know what's up, Lauren the Animal Fogel.
No, LFL. I've watched that a few times on TV.
Oh.
Those girls were even hotter than LFC, weren't they? Oh my God.
All right, we got to put this over here since we're talking about the LFL fandom over here. All right. So Ty Emery, who is also one of the LFC prospects coming from Australia,
Yep.
he just did Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Shout out to Ty. Man, right? The LFL.
That girl.
I love her too. She's a sweetheart.
That match.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And she's known for her first BKFC fight. She goes and flashes the crowd. This woman over here showcasing it. Made headlines.
Right.
Right. And that's the thing too. Like you mentioned watching the LFL, like take me back to high school. I was on MTV2 back in the day, like watching on every Friday night. It was awesome. Like you had to block of the LFL.
Dang. Yeah, I remember watching some of the LFL, and like the girls, they're just like every single one of them are strong, got a badonkey donk on them. Just, you can't tell them nothing. They're all, ready for their next concussion, not even thinking twice. But yeah, I love both sports. I'm glad that we've got somebody in one that's going to transfer to the other and make it big. Because LFC, we're on LFC 37 now.
LFC 37, baby.
I'm telling you, in another year or two, this is going to be a lot more mainstream. It's already big, but I got a good feeling about LFC.
Same. And I always say to people, like, for those who don't know how to watch this or what have you, go to lfcfights.com. This pay-per-view is only $20, folks. If you're a VIP member, enjoy it. But if you want to pay for a doggone good pay-per-view on lfcfights.com, it's LFC 37 Back to the Mansion. It's only $20. $20.
Right. Yeah, you can't get a boxing or an MMA pay-per-view event for that. They're charging like $50, $70, $80 for some of those. Right. So this is going to be a lot more entertaining to watch because, on multiple aspects of it. You got the hot girls not wearing a lot aspects, and then you've also got these girls are the real deal. A lot of them are, have been dedicating their lives to nothing but fighting for 10 years or close to it.
And I think what's great about it too is just the fighting aspect. And I think just taking everything, as I always say with this show, life is an art form, and we're all here to play our crafts, and you all are applying your crafts in some badass and amazing fashion. So I think that's what we're going to keep doing on and on to the break of dawn with LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships. And I will say this before we close this out, Hollie, each and every time I have you on, you look good, emphasis on the good, and you're such a pleasant personality. I definitely can't wait to have you back on after the event.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't wait either. You're such a joy too.
Oh,
I can't wait to do a little bit of bragging instead of just, the pre-trash talk.
Hey, man, I'm just going to say this.
if I'm going to back it up or not. But then afterwards, I got to like try to stay modest, but, you know, also be like, oh, did you see when I did this and this? You know, so I'm looking to be after.
Absolutely. I'll be watching. I know all the LFC fans will. And I'm going to say this before we even promote the social media. You talk about your trash talking and your egos. You know what I'm saying? You're making enemies. You're not even in the ring yet. You're not even in the fight, man. And you're already making some enemies. And I love it. Trash talking, backing it up. Do you have any final words for Bella Rockafella before we get to next Tuesday, Valentine's Day? You got any final words for her?
She just better focus on making it a good show and not trying to injure me and prevent me from carrying on in future fights. Otherwise, I will gut her.
Oh my goodness, we got gutting. We're gonna shank somebody. I see what you're doing. You know, hardcore up in here. Yes. All right.
I mean, with an MMA glove, it is almost like shanking. The smallest glove I've ever been able to punch somebody with is an 8-ounce, you know,
right.
boxing glove in the pros. So I feel like, you know, it's gonna feel like a high heel. I feel like you know, I'll really be able to like punish those pressure points if I need to, and if there's any part of it that's not fun, then you know, I can use these tiny little fists to get in the places I need to get and get myself some so get myself an advantage there.
I'm going to put it in a term that I don't think I've ever said on this show, but there's a first time for everything. It's about to get snug. It's about to get real snug. I see it. I can't wait for it. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. And Hollie Dunaway, I got to say this, Bella Rockafella, Hollie Dunaway, check it out. LFC 37 Back to the Mansion, which is headlined by Selena De La Renta against Katie Forbes in a rematch from LFC Booty Camp 2 back at LFC 31 in 2021. Oh, man, I'll just say this right now, folks. Check out the whole entire card. Every bout has a great story. There's first times matchup. There's debuts. There's a whole lot of badass and beautiful women in the process. So before we close this out, Hollie Dunaway, where can we follow you? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Where can we follow you? Promote the links.
Every single platform, you name it, I'm on it. It's Hollie with an IE on the end. And my website's holliedunaway.com.
Simple and effective, and the simplicity is at its finest. Links will be in the description before and after this show. So check it out in the description. YouTube, folks. It's an awesome thing. It's an awesome platform, and we're all doing the damn thing here at LFC. And also, before we close this out, do you have any final words, not just to Bella Rockafella, what you just said, but the LFC fans, the faithful? What can we expect next Tuesday, Valentine's Day? Any final words for the fans, Hollie Dunaway?
Let me go out on a limb and say expect a knockout. Guaranteed. There's just, I don't know that I would accept anything less. So, you know, if there's 30 seconds left on that clock, I might turn it into a dogfight. So, you know, they expect a knockout, but before then, you know, expect some creative acrobat, super hot girls that are just, you know, just going to sacrifice our bodies to put on a great show.
Oh, I cannot wait. And I'm already hyped because you're wearing the blue. I'll be honest with you. We put it up there and I was hoping. I was like this. I was like, we got to get the blue because it's my favorite color and it's the color of my eyeball. So I'm like, we got to get some blue up in here and we're going to get some blue. We got the blue.
All right. You got the blue. Fine. I'm wearing the blue. It was the most voted on for the,
yes.
You know, when LFC posted, it was like by far the most voted for outfit. So I'll honor it. I'll wear the blue.
Hey, it's the first time ever in this show that I've ever been biased. So we got to get the blue rocking. Anything with the blue, man. Blue. Oh, thank you. But as I always say to close this show,
Pink team wearing the blue.
Pink team wearing the oh yes. Pink team wearing the blue. Okay. Hey, we'll allow it. It's you, Miss Hot Stuff. I mean, can you tell someone with a name like Hot Stuff anything? No, you can't. It's Hot Stuff. It's whatever it is. It's Hot Stuff.
Yeah,
right?
what can you really tell me after all?
And as I always say to close this out, folks, beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are, and Hot Stuff, baby, deceive me. Hollie Dunaway, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Folks, LFC 37 Back to the Mansion. Be there, lfcfights.com. We'll see you next time.